You did not mishear that. In this very video, the death trap shall breathe its first breath of death, I guess. But first, since I left you in suspense last time, let's get the engine properly welded on. I'm a little unsure of the squareness or the parallelness of the engine to the axle at the moment, so I'm gonna take all my silly shims off there and measure from the bolt to the axle before I do a second tack, and that will hopefully ensure we are looking good. 8 inches. Wow, it's like perfect. When does that happen? Now I'm gonna weld this before I change my mind. Now sit back and enjoy the next installment of Krusty Creations. POV, I have no money, no milling machine, and no bit. I had to sacrifice a wheel, but I promise it's for a good cause. That will sort of go like that. Don't break, don't break. Now, I imagine there's a large group of you out there who are just going to be gutted if nothing breaks within the first 30 seconds or so of driving this thing. And I wholeheartedly agree that a bent axle would make for fantastic content. But I can't help but feel that it kind of ruins the spirit of it if I don't at least try to keep it in one piece. So I'm just putting one cheeky little bearing in here in the hope that the next weakest link is just moderately less expensive. I figured it's time to pull the motor up again and fully weld all this stuff out, but we have one small oopsie to deal with first. As you can see, this is currently a no-go. I'm going to see if I can find a drill bit big enough to just drill a hole straight into there. So yeah, I didn't find that drill bit. Some of you are probably very offended by how I'm welding this. And to that, I say, good, come back in time and I'll pay you $3 Canadian an hour to weld it for me. Alright, got everything welded up. Now, let us turn our attention to the rear sprocket. And a lesser man may use a lathe to create a hub for something like this. But I consider myself far better than that, and I've decided to use dumb luck. With dumb luck, I don't have to think. I just do, and things happen. Also, there were these rivets on the bike sprocket, which nearly perfectly meshed up with the teeth on the old go-kart sprocket, so that also sort of helped my cause. And yes, I realize this sprocket is way too big. It's just temporary. Trust me. Well, I sure hope that skateboard wheel holds up. Now, we need to be able to shift and clutch. So, first of all, I'm going to work on the shifter. And due to the shifter on the engine being on the left side, I have the choice of doing some sort of shaft across somewhere, either behind the seat or in front of the seat, and then a linkage back to the shifter. Or we could do what is a lot easier and just pretend we are in England and shift like we're British. And that's what we're going to do. First of all, this is in our way, and we have no more boost anymore, so bye-bye. Very sad. It's hot. So here's the situation with the shifter. It works quite well. It doesn't wiggle a lot, but slides very nicely in there. But it has quite a long throw to it, and it's kind of sluggish to return back to center. So I think I'm going to bend this bar around here, weld a bolt farther down here rather than up here, and hopefully, well, it should increase the stiffness and shorten the throw of the shifter. Should be much nicer, hopefully. That's the plan. All right, so here's where we're at. That's still there because I didn't want to cut it off before I was sure. And now it's better. And I'll probably drill and tap a couple holes in here at some point and put a handle. But honestly, it's not even that bad just shifting with this, at least for testing purposes. So, for the clutch, I have this old e-brake cable from an old Ford truck, which just so happens to be the perfect length to reach to where I want my clutch pedal. So I've made this little bracket, just a piece of angle iron with a couple holes in it, and it fits over here, just barely. Hopefully, we'll bolt on something like this. Unfortunately, a goat ate the rest of my clutch making footage, but, you know, pedal, pull, cable, pull, clutch, you get the idea, right? So, brakes. I guess that's a thing that I should probably have. These look really ghetto, and they are pretty ghetto, but they work pretty well also. I've got this piece of round bar set up so it keeps the master cylinder straight, and then there's just a linkage going to the front where my pedal is, and that's really all there is to it, just because the brake line was way too short, so that's just what I did. In this circumstance, all I had to do was extend my linkage and move the master cylinder a bit farther back because the whole cart was made a little bit longer. But other than that, it's the same good old reliable brake system it's always been. Alright, I hope you can sort of see what I'm doing here. This might be kind of temporary. I come up with a better solution for this. Actually, that's not going to work at all, is it? No. I believe I've actually kind of solved the problem in a not so getaway, relatively speaking. I just welded a little tab on there and cut a slit in it. Now it fits in there nicely and has a set screw to lock onto the shaft. Should be very nice. Now, when I press the throttle, it should do something. Very nice. I decided last second that my highly engineered skateboard wheel tensioner needed a secondary support. So again, for all of those that were really hoping on something breaking, I'm really sorry. I'm trying my best here. I have created some braces of some sort. So now I will sort out this rear axle situation, get some wheels on, get a brake rotor disc on, and then we just have wiring after that. When I say wiring, what I mean is some jumper cables and 2, maybe 3 zip ties if I'm feeling extra spendy that day, just for testing purposes. I've decided, since I don't have all the things I need to wire things nicely and properly, including a battery, I have just sort of plugged everything in and we are going for a test drive. Anyway, I think it is time to fuel up and jumpstart this thing and see what breaks first. What the shit? Why does it spill gas everywhere? There were 2 primary areas of leakage. One was fairly easily solved by smearing some brown goo over things. The other area of leakage was those pesky little float valves. I was using the old floats and valves because the ones I got in the not-so-fantastic carb kit I bought were very slightly different. I ended up using a combination of the old float and the new valve, and that seemed to do the trick. I see no leaks. I see no leaks at all. This is very good. This is very good indeed. Now, at long last, what you've all been waiting for. Now, I wish I had more better driving footage, and hopefully there will be that fairly soon. But for now, here's the fastest clip sped up to look more exciting. A big thanks for everyone who helped me zoom to 100 subscribers in the last video, and thank you for watching till the end.